in today's blog, what I wanted to go over was some of Robert Kiyosaki's teachings. I listened to a lot of his books on, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, quite a while ago, but some of these things are really essential for you to understand in order to move forward in terms of your financial understanding of how to break free from the rat race, and just to get that idea of what's going on in society and what we're doing. So what I wanted to go over were some of the the basics of what Robert Kiyosaki teaches, and just share what I've learned through his teaching. So the first thing that I wanted to mention was the four. He depicts something called the CashFlow Quadrant, which is essentially a way to categorize the four major ways income is earned. It's depicted in a diagram, and it's divided into four quadrants. You've got something called the employee quadrant, where essentially you're working for someone. You've got the self-employed or the small business quadrant. So these two are on the left side of the quadrant, and the self-employed or small business owner is essentially where you own a job. So you might be an accountant, a lawyer, so forth, where you might have an ABN registered and you're working for yourself. But if you take yourself out of the system, you don't get an income. Similarly, the employee is stuck in a place where if they take their services or leave their job for a month, they're not going to get paid, unless of course it's accrued leave. But you can't effectively take yourself out of the equation and still have some kind of income coming in. Now on the right side of the quadrant, you've got the B and the I quadrants. The B stands for business owner or big business, and the I is the investment or investor quadrant. In the business owner quadrant, this is a person who owns a business to make money, typically where the presence of that business owner is not required. There's a system in place, and that system generates the income that is needed to sustain that business and also provide an income for the business owner through the profits. And similarly, in the investor quadrant, the investing money can produce investing money in that quadrant, so it might be shares, stocks, bonds, whatever, produces certain profits to be derived from that. What Robert goes into is that for you to truly attain wealth, it's limited in its possibilities to a greater extent in the left side of the quadrant, which is the E and the S, where it's maximized, and he also stresses that it is the only way to actually achieve financial freedom to work out of the B and the I quadrants, where you own a business and you're a business owner. That is not to say people have attained financial freedom working in the other side of the quadrants. I'm not trying to say that in any way, but the likelihood is much, much greater if you're working on the right side of the quadrant from the B and the I, whereas if you're working from the E and the S, it's greatly lower. So those are the quadrants. He also stresses that in order for you to become wealthy, one of the key things that you need to focus on is what he calls financial literacy. These are things that are not essentially taught at school. At school, we're taught, numbers, how to read English, grammar, and so forth. But we're not taught. In fact, if we go a little bit further in in this discussion, we're not really taught how to be happy, we're not taught how to manage money, and we're not taught effectively how to manage relationships. These are the three things that are missing in our schooling system. But he goes into the fact that that the schooling doesn't really teach you much about money or how to gain it and attain it and hold on to it. So financial literacy. Another thing he also stresses is passive income. So for you to attain wealth, you need to create systems, so whether it be through the B and the I quadrants, which generate income without you actually having to be there physically. So you create the system. Now this system might be, I'm just thinking out loud, a vending machine. You might be owner of a vending machine system, and you don't actually physically have to be there. There's a machine that operates it, and you just collect the money. So this is a really simple example, but something like that. So you create a system. It can be a personal services business, but you don't actually run the business. You direct it, or you orchestrate it, and you set it up, and you can go and do other things with your time. So passive income is a major thing that he stresses, and to truly attain financial freedom, you need to be out of the rat race, which is you're not having to work to gain an income. Again, that comes back to passive income, having set up those systems and having them in place. He also goes into the asset classes, the essentially the ways and means of gaining wealth through these four major asset classes, which are businesses that generate, say, a monthly cash flow that don't require the owner to be there. Real estate such as owning homes, apartments, houses that generate a monthly cash flow. Paper assets such as stocks, bonds, funds. Commodities such as gold, silver, iron ore, copper, that are hedged. He goes into saying that are used to hedge the government's mismanagement of printing national currency. But those are the four asset classes that he mentions that you need to invest in order to become wealthy. So essentially that's what I wanted to share with you today, my understanding of that. So in summary, Robert Kiyosaki goes into the CashFlow Quadrant. You've got the E, which is the employee, the S, the small business owner or the self-employed, the B, which is business owner or big business, as I'd like to call it, and the I, which is the investor quadrants. To truly attain financial freedom, you need to work from the B and the I, and move away from the E and the S. He goes into passive income sources, setting up systems to attain financial freedom. He also goes into the fact that you need to get out of the rat race. You cannot be working to, trading your time for money to be wealthy or to be financially free. You have to be, if not aiming for, moving away from that kind of approach, and to create passive income sources where you're not in the system, you're not physically having to work to attain income. This is the way to financial freedom. And financial literacy, where you need to be educating yourself continuously about the financial systems, the way things work, your knowledge of terminology and so forth. So I hope you've gained something out of this, and I look forward to your comments. Please share. Let me know things you know about Robert Kiyosaki's teachings, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Thank you.